We're working. We got the sound. We got the YouTubes, I think. Maybe? Let's see. I'm clicking on the thing, YouTube. Alright, we got the YouTubes. We got the sound. We are rocking and rolling. You know what else we have? Giant Squig Mac. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why he gets the Godzilla music, but he does. But yep, we've got our Giant Squig Mac here. Starting to get our colors in on this bad boy. I have built him in honor of what's going to be Friday's Warhammer Fest reveals, which will be the rest of the Beast Snagas, which are which are these guys. What are they called? Squig themed orcs. So I am building him in honor of that. And to satisfy my idea of what if Morkanaut, but Squig. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to block some color in. So though technically he's going to be a Beast Snaga, he is also going to be part of my Wah Boys. So all my orc stuff's going to match, and it's going to be boss. It's going to be so boss. So yeah, I mean the official colors for the Beast Snagas are like this Horizon Zero Dawn themed pattern. But honestly, I kind of want all my guys to be the Wah Boys, Goths, dark colors and silvers and stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. I actually got a new chrome color that we'll try out on his teeth. See how it looks. I got a shining metal or something like that from Scale Color or Scale 75. So we'll try that out for him. And if it's actually super cool, we'll carry it out back all through all the War Boys. And there's a mix of silver and chrome like I did on Kazkul Thraka. But I did part of him using a Molotov chrome pen. But if I can get a more chromey chrome out of just acrylic, I will happily do that instead. But yeah. See, we have sprayed this bad boy with gunmetal, specifically lead belcher from Citadel. I came into a can of lead belcher and I was like, oh man, exactly what I needed for Morkanaut. So it was like perfect timing. This way I can make sure that anything I miss is sort of just mechanical color, and I'm happy with that. It also means that a lot of the stuff like the leg details and stuff like that, I don't have to paint those in. You know, they're just as they are. But just being a little quick, a little brutal. Not very cunning right now. We're being more Mork than Gork. It's part of the beard. Just trying to get our colors blocked in. I feel like I do a lot of painting where this is the step that I'm doing. What ends up happening is I end up starting new projects when painting on YouTube. And then like they end up taking longer than the hour or whatever that I'm going to stream for. So I end up just like getting the basics done, and I end up doing all the details and stuff off screen. So every now and then I do try to do something fancy on screen, but today is works. So I'm overpainting in some areas because I just want to get the, you know, like the side details and stuff, and I'm going to be painting those bits anyway. So I'm not super worried about it. But our lovely orc friends, they should be getting their announcement along with the announcement for their codex on Friday. I am sure the sisters got their announcement yesterday, which was a fantastic announcement. They got a beautiful, beautiful big boss model, and their codex was officially announced. With all the models announced for the sisters, we knew it was coming. But it's official now, which is nice. It was kind of a shame they only showed off like 2 new models though. It's a little bit of a letdown. But I mean, the big model they showed off was beautiful. I am not a fan of the simple Jack lady carrying the banner. But everything is in cash money. That's for sure. I do like the dog Mata, but a lot of the details in her chest or in legs, like upper legs, are hidden. I'm not a big fan of that. It's just very like, here's some rows with some little hands sticking out. Not a big fan of it. But Paragon War suits are beautiful, and they are very much the models that have convinced me to start painting sisters. So, as I've been posting on Instagram, I recently changed up the way I've been painting my sisters. I'm talking about sisters so much. So here's one of them. Come on. So yeah, so they have a new color scheme to them. Slightly different way of doing the purple. So it's a little lighter. So unfortunately they lose some of the really sharp contrast they had. But they gain a ton of detail in exchange. And I think that's... And they also gain just generally looking less messy. And I think those are all good changes. So I will trade the contrast for looking less messy and for having more detail. I think that's a very good, like, trading up. So I really could have just primed this thing black and probably painted in some gunmetal and done quicker, I'm sure. But it is what it is. We are going to choose some of these armor panels in like dark gray just to break up the everything's black. But go ahead, I'm going to block most of them in black. Then we'll decide what we want to be gray from there. That'll give us a better idea of the composition of the model. And it should give us a stronger view overall of, like, you know, trying to convey like a mixed metal look. And our squig, I've decided that I'm going to paint him like a big old fucking watermelon. So he's going to be pink on the inside and green on the outside with some dots. Because I really like the idea of doing the squigs like really mental. Like just crazy colors. I think that's a lot of fun. Especially when the wild boys and stuff aren't, you know, they're very gray, they're very monochrome. I like the idea of the squigs being the like Super, super, super crazy colors. There is a version of War Boys in the Mad Max video game who are all like crazy like pigments, like powder pigments and stuff like that, and that's their whole aesthetic. I was actually kind of debating doing the Beast Snagger stuff like that, but I decided no, I want the squigs to be the big color difference instead of like color splotches on the armor. I thought lore wise I don't know, in my head canon it made more sense, I guess. Plus, I'll be honest, who's actually played the Mad Max video game, right? I mean, I played it, beat the hell out of it, I loved that game, but bet you many people have not. So, be like, why are these ones so bright and the rest so gray? Well, little Jimmy, sit down and let me tell you about a movie tie-in video game that no one but me played. Man, I would have played that game when I still lived with my parents. It was a while ago. Weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm being very nostalgic-y right now, because after seeing the Paragon Warsuits, all I can think about is Exo Squad. Because, let's be real, they're straight-up Exo Squads. And I just think that's amazing. So, very power loader and Exo Squad vibes, and I dig it. I super dig it. Let's do this in black too. But yeah, the reveals so far have been pretty great. All the AOS stuff they showed off was beautiful. And I have no use for any of it, so this is somebody saying it's beautiful who's probably not going to buy it. But really, really, really nice looking stuff. I was a little disappointed in the quantity of reveals from yesterday. Just the one new model was... She's a beautiful model, so I don't want to say she was lackluster, but the quantity of the reviews definitely was. But we'll be getting tons at Works on Friday. So that's cool. And then on Saturday, we'll probably be getting Age of Sigmar 3.0, which I'm sure somebody wants, but I don't know who that person is. I've only played Age of Sigmar a couple times, but I do like it. It's a really nice system. I feel like it solves a lot of the problems that 40k have, even though it doesn't solve all of them. But I mean, let's be real here. Like, if you just threw alternating activations on 40k, that would solve like 99% of the problems that game has. But it solved like 80% of the problems, because you still have the problem of lots of rules bloat and stuff like that in this edition. Which, I mean, let's be real, that happens in every edition. But it is a little bit too much. The Death Guard Codex came out and it was like, oh, what did that do to my poor boy? And there's just too much garbage in there. But I guess somebody wants AOS 3.0. Honestly, if they turned it into Giant Warcry, be legit. I don't think that's what they're going to do. They'll probably just do a couple little tiny changes and it'll really be like AOS 2.5, but we'll see. We shall see what it ends up being, because that's almost certainly what's coming on Saturday. It's pretty much like 100% given at this point. With everything else has been announced and stuff. The goal here is not to paint all the armor black, right? We want some to be silver. Not silver, we want some to be, you know, the metal color. But we do want to have something that breaks up some of the view, right? We don't want the thing just to be all metal. That excuse me, looks like crap and doesn't sell our character, so we don't want that. Alright, so let's see what else. We got a knee pad on this side, paint that in. We got the shoes we can paint in, and there's lots of little bits and bobs of armor here and there we can do as well, but we'll probably swap brushes for that. So it's painting in the shoes, and then we'll put the other arm back on and stuff, and we'll take a gander at it. Because I don't just want the whole body to be black. That's not what I want at all. But yeah. So if AOS 3.0 is actually coming, which, I mean, let's be real, it is. What are we going to get? Well, personally, I want big war cry. 2-turn activations, simplified unit sheets. That's what I want. Are we getting that? Absolutely fucking not. What changes will they actually make? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Maybe something with like building command points and what you can do with your command points. Stuff like that. Because that is one of the few big differences in 40k versus Age of Sigmar right now. That's how all that works. Maybe it'll be something to do with that. Maybe it will be. Really, I just want it to be alternating activations. That's what I really want. You know, you move a unit, I move a unit. You fight, I fight. I find that so much more engaging as like a game system, especially as games get bigger, because then there's less punishment for going first or second. You know, because really all you at any given time, then all you really get to activate is one model. So the benefit of, like, you know, being quote unquote double turned is really nothing. You know, and the whole dice mechanic from Warcry would be awesome too. Something like that, like some kind of new activation scheme or something would be really neat, instead of just the phases system that it has now. That would be really nice, and be a nice modernization. Will it have that? Almost certainly not. But I really can't, like, I'm on Discord with a lot of people that play AOS all the time, and even they didn't really even know what they wanted. I was like, hey, what would you guys actually want? And they named like a couple little things, and that's it. So, rolls wise, I have no idea what's going to change. Design for the box wise, what should it be? Should be Chronothi Hunters and Skaven. 100%, that's what it should be. It should be Chronothi Hunters and Skaven. Is that what it's going to be? No. The rumor right now is that it's Goblins and the Sigmarines, which still could be a cool box, don't get me wrong. But it would be great if it was Chronothi Hunters. Or the Chronothi, I guess. Like the Wood Elf animal people. That's what it really should be. 100%. Like. But the rumor is that it is Goblins and Sigmarines. Alright. Stick a gander, what we got? Okay. So we do have a lot of black on there, which is good. So I think we'll call that for black and start blocking in the other colors now. A lot of other colors we can get in there. Sweet. Alright, so let's block in our squig. We're going to do him in Poison Cloud from our panel. But yeah, Chronothi Hunters and Skaven would be amazing. Especially given that there hasn't been a single Skaven update in the rulebook yet. I don't think there's going to be. I don't think they're going to be included in any of the freaking Broken Realms books. Which is such a shame. Especially as like Warhammer Fantasy's like original OG race. They've just been kind of kicked to the side and forgotten. So yeah, I would like to see Chronothi and there was talk of like a bug faction, but there's no way in hell that they're going to do Vampire Lords and another new faction, right? Like, I don't even think we'll get Chronothi for that reason. I think the rumor that it's Gobos and Gobos and Stormcast is probably pretty on point, unfortunately. You know, I don't mind the Stormcast. I think there's a lot of cool painting potential for them too. Especially some of their animals like the drakes and stuff I think are really, really cool. But it is kind of a shame they're in like every box set. Honestly, I don't know enough about the AOS lore to really even say what would happen in the story. I know there's a bunch of new gods or something, and I don't know. It'd be neat if they did Stormcast, if they did like more of like a Cities of Sigmar kind of thing, with like some new Cities of Sigmar kits, and they give you like a mixed list of Sigmarines and Cities of Sigmar, like humans and dwarves and stuff. That would be really boss, actually. Again, I don't think that'll happen, but I think that would be really cool. Just because I think the human perspective is much more interesting than the perspective of like the super soldier. Alright. Now that needs to dry for a little bit. Oh. So let's put him off to the side. And let's take a look at the sister tank. And we'll get a second coat blocked in for our new purple, which is Amethyst Alchemy. This stuff is really cool. The whole alchemy paint line is phenomenal. It's basically metallic paint of all kinds of different flavors. From like this one's a pink, this one's Kunzite Alchemy. I've got a blue, cobalt metal. Fantastic paint range. They go on very well. You see they're a little shoddy here, but it's because I was kind of applying them pretty quick, really, and not just trying to get something down, because I'm doing a lighter color over a darker color, so it's going to take a couple coats, and I knew that. So I was trying to get something down, and we start getting better coverage like we start to have there. I know going over this darker color, we're probably going to need 2 or 3 coats in most areas, because we do want the color to be pretty consistent all throughout the space. So I am trying to keep some of the paint around it, right? And some of it, if it gets overridden, that's fine. I'll touch it up, but I mean, if I can save myself as little work as possible, that's what I'm trying to do right now. So trying to be a little bit neat with this, but not crazy. So just because, like, you know, I know I do need to do multiple coats, right? So that increases my chance of messing up pretty exponentially. I am not the neatest painter in the world, so trying to get me to paint the same thing without making mistakes more than once. Son, you asking for a lot, you know? Alright. Let's get some color down the body here. Okay, you can see it's a little splotchy, right? We go back with the second coat, and it helps a ton. Just get in. Oh, a little off camera there. Just getting that more clean, solid coat. This will dry a little bit more solid than it looks as well, which is nice. But yeah, it feels good to finally be like, this is what I'm going to do with these models, right? Especially with the Big Sisters reveal recently. Feels especially nice. So I can be like, alright, when them ladies come out, I am prepared. You know, I know how to paint that new tank already. I got this on the lock. You know, like, that's pretty great. It's a good feeling, like, prepping for a big project and already feeling like you already know what you're doing kind of thing. It's nice. But yeah, from after this, I will go through and I will do all the touch-ups. Which means probably going to be a couple spots here and there that I screwed up and or missed. Which is fine, I'm expecting that. I'm just trying to minimize it as much as possible. So I will go through and I will do all the touch-ups. And then all of the purple is going to get hit with Drakenshath Nightshade. No, it's going to hit with Druchii Violet, which is a dark purple wash from the GW. And it will darken down all the purple and get into the crevices and stuff like that. And it should leave it with a really nice look, like the sister I showed off on the stream earlier. And I will be losing some of the contrast, unfortunately, but I will be gaining bunch more detail, and, you know, frankly, easier to paint. Because I liked the look of the dark purple, but it killed all the detail, and it was a bitch to paint. Like an absolute bitch. The inks I was using over the metallic paint didn't have a very strong tooth to it because it was very shiny. It was not very matte, so the inks were not sticking very well, so they were rubbing off very easily. All kinds of stuff like that. It was just super obnoxious to actually do because the ink was very runny, and without the strong tooth on the paint, kind of went everywhere, required a ton of cleanup, even when I was doing my best to be super, super, super crazy neat, which, let's face it, I never am. But even when I was doing my best at that, it was a real challenge. So it's good to move away from a painting method that, while I did like the result, I did not enjoy doing it. So the idea of having an entire army done that way was not positive at all for me, which is no good, right? Because I'm building these models because I'm looking forward to the ones that have yet to come out, right? Like, I'm building these in prep for those Paragon Warsuits, pretty much. You know, so I don't want to be in the new tank and all that stuff. Like, I don't want to be being like, man, I'm looking forward to these models. Man, I don't want to paint them. You know, that's no good. Painting is my hobby. It's my relaxation. It's my time to turn my brain off and stuff like that. Even these streams, you know, they're kind of an extension of that. They're me rambling at the camera about really whatever's on my brain, like, you know, sister models, new work models, whatever. Like, I don't really normally prepare for these unless I'm going to be playing a game. And, you know, so it's just like, alright, camera on, model get, paint go, kind of thing, you know? I might be going out to dinner with a friend on Friday, so I was going to stream painting some of my work on Friday. I decided to do it tonight instead because I'm going to potentially be going to dinner with a friend. Friend from when we were making games. I was a game developer who works for Xbox now. Very cool. So hopefully be going to dinner with him on Friday, and we'll I'm sure talk about 40K at some point. He's not into it, but he has seen my Insta, so I'm sure it'll come up. Go. Sweet. Oh, it just occurred to me I did not paint the armor of the sister sitting at the turret. Well, let's do that. I'm gonna paint her armor still. She's still got the super dark purple armor. Let's change it up. Well, hard to see down in there, but we'll do our best. You can see I didn't finish painting her and all her details in. Partly because I was like, man, I want to change up these colors for these ladies. She's pretty much the last thing I didn't paint on this model. You can see the whole stained glass and everything's all done already. So that was fun to paint. I enjoyed painting the stained glass. Partly because doing the outlines was a lot of fun. Because stained glass actually held together with like grout, essentially, like solder. So it kind of has these black, a little bit shiny kind of outlines. All the stained glass does. Instead of just doing it as pure, pure color up and over every ledge, I painted the ledges in the in like a grout color. Or it's pretty fun. So we'll get her blocked in. Just like that. And then we'll have to pick our details out as well, because we hadn't painted those in yet. Sweet. Alright, there she is. We'll put her on the tank. Flame it away. What time we got? About 5 minutes. Let's do another layer on the orc, on the squig. And then I will probably call it for the night. So we got a little bit done. I'll probably go check on the hubby, grab a shower, do some probably more painting after that. I'm gonna call my stream there. Probably. But yeah, I know this is gonna take a lot of coats to get this really bright green over the gunmetal, so considering it's a little bit of a thin paint, so just kind of slathering it on. And we will hit this guy with a bunch of washes, and we'll pick out all the straps and the tubes that I added to him, and all the horns and stuff. But just trying to get some of this color blocked in. Yeah. Alright, we'll go ahead and call it there. I have run out of things to say to my imaginary friend, Mr. YouTube. We're going to show off the start of our squiggonaut here. Next, I'm going to start picking out different armor panels and start putting some details in it. So I'll go ahead and I'll pull his arm off. If anyone's curious, this is a 5mm by 5mm hinge joint from Hexagear, and just screwed in a 5mm hole there, and it just gives him the posability there, so he can hold different poses, because magnets weren't strong enough to hold him in place. So yeah. That's my squiggonaut in production. And with that, I will call it. Thank you all for watching. And hopefully they have some cool announcements for box games tomorrow. Fingers crossed for Delac getting some giant rat monsters. Or no, giant bat monsters, because they're kind of vampires. It's like maybe big bat monsters would be red.